Did the market finally wake up on the truth about AMD's earnings? I think the answer is yes. So in today's episode, I want to take a closer look at some of the news impacting AMD, a lot of price target analysts, and also maybe some of the things that might be creating volatility throughout the stock. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so as I mentioned, AMD right now is sitting at 6.3%, and luckily, we can go back in time, and just after the company reported earnings, we did see the stock take a dip. And gladly, I did a video and I said Wall Street is wrong about AMD stock. And in that video, I mentioned the following. I mentioned that this earnings that they reported were actually pretty strong, and the guidance that they gave were amazing. So in that video, make sure to check it out. I talked about all the bullish sentiments about AMD and why the second half of this year, thanks to the MI355 and the end of next year, thanks to the MI400, could be one of those catalysts that will drive AMD to be a multi-bagger. So right now, we can see in the past day, the stock is up about 6.3%. A few things that happened. First is, not sure if this would be considered a bullish sentiment, but Cathie Woods did buy a nice amount of shares yesterday when we did see that after earnings dip. So it's just a nice amount of inflow of money coming into AMD. The second thing, and the more important thing, what we're going to see is AMD is getting a nice amount of price target hikes, a lot. So we're going to look at that as well. Now, if you didn't watch my previous episode, there was reports that Trump is expecting massive 100% semiconductor tariffs. And some people might be wondering, Jose, what does this have to do with AMD right now? And should AMD investors be worried? I believe the answer is no. And the market kind of believes exactly what I said last night. Right now, AMD, most of the chips that AMD makes are coming from TSMC. TSMC is already investing dramatically in the United States, and they're going to be exempt from these tariffs. AMD is also a massive buyer of TSMC's Arizona plant. So AMD, being a US company, saying, look, Trump administration, I am a customer of these Arizona chips because I believe that we should build here in the United States. I physically can't build it because I'm not a manufacturer, but I'm making sure that my partners have me as a customer here in US soil, even if the chips might be a little bit more expensive. And just that alone will create this company to bypass those tariffs in the long term, in my opinion. Now, I mentioned that we've seen a lot of analyst price targets. And you see, this is pretty cool. This is what AI does for you. I'm not much of a coder. And if I was, I couldn't do this in the little bit of amount of time that I have. But I have this quick AI app that I created. So this is based on analyst projections right now. So all I have to do is put help to get a list. And I kind of want to look about all the analyst ratings that are happening for AMD. So a lot of bullish sentiments. We see benchmark. They increased their price target from 170 to 210 and have it as a buy. Cited strong demand in client market share gains. Emphasized ramp of new AI GPUs, particularly the MI350, and strong double-digit growth expectations in the data segment for Q3. We also have Barclays. They increased from $130 to $200 in overweight, highlighted strong AI trends in the data center business and market share expansion in client, noted MI series chips are on path to over $10 billion in revenue for calendar year of 2026. Wedbush from 170 to 190 at an outperform. Noted Q2 results were good, but AMD now faces some lofty expectations. Q3 outlook was better than expected due to substantial quarter-over-quarter data center GPU growth. We have Piper Sandler from 140 to 190, cited strong momentum in AMD's data center business, highlighted that the MI350 GPU's rollout as a significant driver, predicting GPU revenue could reach $1.8 billion in Q3 alone. We just saw Northland Securities increase from 132 to 198, contends that the strong momentum AMD is seeing in AI is still not reflected in consensus estimates, and China AI revenue to return in calendar year of 2025. We continue to see this kind of bullish sentiment. And again, it's more about the MI355, and it's not like it's crazy valuations, right? $10 billion in GPU sales by by calendar year of 2026 is not something outrageous. It's doable. Now, the great thing is no one here is talking about the MI400, and the MI400 expected in the late of 2026 will be even a bigger driving force. And that's what Lisa Su, we talked about it during AMD's earnings. Lisa Su mentioned that the MI400 with its Helios rack would be a nice contributor in 2026. We see TD Cowen from 165 to 195, highlight a strength in AMD's CPU and GPU and gaming segments, expects growth in server CPUs driven by AI applications, and with the Instinct franchise MI355 being a large contributor to quarter three growth. JP Morgan from 120 to 180 noted June quarter revenue exceeded guidance by 4%, estimates AMD ships 1.1 billion in data center GPUs, and is on track to ship around 7 billion in MI300 GPUs this year. Morgan Stanley was one of the few that actually decreased it. So from 185 to 168, cited lower conviction in China demand and a lack of AI upside overall. Expects the stock to be range bound due to high expectations already priced in. I can definitely see maybe some of the high expectations, but if quarter three delivers, I do believe these prices are still pretty cheap. So we will find out in the next 3 months. But if the next 3 months they completely outperform, and I believe that they will, this is going to be in the long term a multi-bagger opportunity. Goldman from a 440 to 150, but they put it to neutral. They show data center GPU momentum, but question the scale and operating leverage. Believes that performance will be influenced by 2026 GPU revenue projections, estimating about 10 to 11 billions for 2026. Cantor kind of maintained at $200, still very bullish and overweight, highlighted that the Instinct processors are expected to drive 75% of quarter three's revenue growth, indicating the early stages of the MI355 product ramp. And remember, when you ramp up a product, you don't get to full utilization right off the bat. You kind of ramp. Again, it's a ramp. So even for quarter four, you expect even more excitement there. UBS also kept it at $210. Noted that so again, very bullish from current prices still. Noted that while results beat expectations, they largely aligned with investor sentiment, highlighted optimism about market share growth potential in server and desktop CPU segments. Now, just a quick summary here. I believe I can get summary. So key analysts, so pretty much what they mentioned, strong CPU performance. We continue to see both record sales in EPYC server processors and Ryzen client processors. The gaming segment continues to grow. The MI350 ramp has high expectations for significant AI GPU revenue growth in the second half of 2025. Obviously, some uncertainty with China as the company didn't want to provide that in their guidance, but Lisa Su has mentioned that there is better clarity, at least right now, than there was 19 days ago. Now, market share gains continue momentum in taking shares from Intel in both server and client CPU markets. Now, again, we're not hearing market share gains from NVIDIA just yet, and that's okay. You just want to grow with the market, and if you're growing with the market, you will be able to grow revenue dramatically. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. But let me check out my profile really quick. I want to kind of showcase some information that I had here for the MI300. So for the AMD's outlook, they had about $8.3 billion. And all these charts you can find at fiscal.ai/Jose. You can use my platform, my code for 15% off. But we can see 8.3. The company guided for 8.6, 8.7, actually 8.7, not counting China revenue, and plus or minus $300 million. On the top end, that's a $9 billion quarter. I personally believe AMD continues to sandbag their guidance like they did this quarter, like they did last quarter. And we're actually going to get a over $9 billion quarter. I'm going to guess somewhere closer to 9.2 in revenue for September of 2025, where originally the market was expecting around 8.3. So massive upbeat, in my opinion, if the Chinese market comes in clutch. I think maybe even closer to $9.3 billion in revenue. almost a $1 billion growth, over a 10% beat compared to what the market was expecting about a week ago. So AMD, I'm actually pretty excited. Regardless, my sentiment still stands. The stock has definitely pulled up, even though long term I am extremely bullish for the stock being a market beater and a multi-bagger. With volatilities like this, with run-ups like this, I tend to do more of small dollar cost averaging. And if the market gives us opportunity, I double down on those dollar cost averaging opportunities, right? So multi-bagger, I still believe this is easily a $500 billion company within the next few years. And that's me lowballing with the way we're seeing the AI space. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.